Hello Year 4, welcome to our second reading lesson this week together. As yesterday, we are also going to be continuing with Derek. Remember, D for decoding words, E for explaining new vocabulary, R for retrieving information, I, which is interpreting or using our inference skills, and C is choice, thinking about the choices made by the author or illustrator. So today we're going to look at the same text which we read together yesterday. So we don't need to find out the meanings of words today, but we're going to look at developing our retrieval skills, and tomorrow we're going to develop our inference skills. We're going to have to interpret the same text. Now, before we dive back into our extracts, we're going to have a look at this picture. My children love this book. It's called There's a Snake in My School by David Walliams. Now, I've used this one because I know that David Walliams has given permission for us to share his books. So before I begin, I want to ask you the question, can you explain to me, what does the word fatigued mean? Pause the video, please. Okay, let's have a look together. It means extremely tired. My retrieval question, remember that's there in the text for you. Where is this scene set? Now, it doesn't actually tell me, does it? So if you can pause the video and just have a think, and then we'll go through our answer together. I've put this scene from the story is set in the school playgrounds. And I know that because at the back here, we've got the school, got the library and classrooms, and they're in their school uniform, and there's a fence here keeping them safe. My next question for you is using our inference, we need to interpret. This one's not as obvious. What do you think the children are thinking? Please pause the video and discuss. I've had a good think, and I think the children are wanting the approaching creature or object to stop. He's looking about, not again. This one, he looks like he's saying, no, no. These ones are saying, oh my goodness. So that's what I've used to give me a clue as to my answer. And my final picture question is choice. Why has the illustrator chosen to show the library through glass windows? This one at the back. Please pause your video. Okay, my interpretation of why they've done that is it gave me the clue for retrieving where is the scene set. If that had just been a brown building, it wouldn't have necessarily indicated to me that it was a school. So it's just given the reader some more detail. Okay, let's move on to our text together. Again, if you would like to read this yourself, then you can either pause the video here or fast forward it to once I've finished, or you can listen along and look at your text as we go. I didn't think it would rain, she said, her voice gentler. Lost, are you? I said nothing. She had a dog on a leash at her side, a big dog. There was an ominous growl in his throat and his hackles were up all along his back. She smiled. The dog says you're on private property, she went on, pointing her stick at me. Accusingly. She edged aside my raincoat with the end of her stick. Run away from that school, did you? Well, if it's anything like it used to be, I can't say I blame you. But we can't just stand here in the rain, can we? You'd better come inside. We'll give him some tea. Shall we, Jack? Don't you worry about Jack. He's all bark and no bites. Looking at Jack, I find that hard to believe. I don't know why, but I never, for one moment, thought of running off. I often wondered later why I went with her so readily. I think it was because she expected me to, willed me somehow. I followed the old lady and her dog up to the house, which was huge as my school. It looked as if it had grown out of the ground. There was hardly a brick or stone or tile to be seen. The entire building was smothered in red creeper, and there was a dozen ivy-clad chimneys sprouting skyward from the roof. We sat down close to the stove in a vast vaulted kitchen. The kitchen's always the warmest place, she said, opening the oven door. We'll have you dry in no time. Okay, on my next slide, I'm just going to have the beginning of my extracts. And I've got my retrieval question, and remember the answers are in the text. Use the text to help you. Who had a dog on a leash? Please pause the video and answer it on your whiteboards or in your book. Okay, let's have a look at this together. So I'm going to get my highlighter, and you could use your highlighter too at home if you've got one, or circle clues in the text with a pencil. I've said here, who has a dog on a leash? So this is my keyword, leash. I'm going to have a look through and I'm going to skim it. I'm going to look a bit faster here. A leash. She had a dog on a leash. Now, she tells me I could say the woman had a dog on a leash, but as I remember from yesterday and from what I've just read, later on in the text it said the lady, who was a stranger, had a dog on a leash. Okay, let's have a look at another one together. What made the child wary about the dog? Pause the video and write down your answer on your whiteboard or in your book, please. Okay, let's have a look at this together. What made the child wary about the dog? So again, at the beginning, let's have a read through. And it said, I said nothing. She had a dog. So that's a bit of a clue here. Dog, dog. On a leash at her side. A big dog. And there was an ominous growl in his throat, and his hackles were up all along his back. So what does that look like in my sentence? Let's have a look together. The big dog on a leash let out an ominous growl, which isn't a good sign. You could also add in this bit here about his hackles were up along his back. That would give us extra information. Okay, my third question for you this morning. Where was the child? Pause the video and answer on your whiteboard or on your book, please. Okay, where was the child? It says here, the dog says you're on private property, so that's one clue. And it says you can't stay out here. We can't stand here in the rain, can we? That tells me we're outside. So what does that answer look like in a sentence? The child was outside in the rain on private property. Okay, boys and girls, your task today. First, just like yesterday, please write the long date and reading at the top of your page. Then pause the video here so that you've got the questions to hand. In your book, I would like you to answer the following retrieval questions. What was the weather like? Where did the child follow the lady to? What was the house covered in? How many chimneys did the house have? Where was the warmest place in the house? Enjoy your task today.